Once she gets that to her email, then she'll send it to you so you can post it in the group and I can put it in the app. So Brandy's in charge of the actual thing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Who wants
Cool.
to welcome all of these people once I admit them all? Who's ready?
Do you want to you mean say hi to everybody?
Yeah.
I can do
All
that.
right, Jamie. There you go. They're all coming in. Oh, oh, look. It's like Christmas.
It's just lighten up.
Wow.
Like the Brady Bunch on steroids.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. This is
That's
why
what it looks
Eric
like.
always has like such a good time with us. He's like, what? What's up, everybody?
Good morning.
Hello,
Happy
hello.
Friday. We'll let everybody get in here and then we'll say hello to everybody.
And
As you all know, the big boss man is not here. You're stuck with us today, but we will do our best to answer all of your Kevin, stop it. We will do our best to answer all of your
we're
questions.
gonna have this handled, guys. So first of all, welcome. We are going to actually have Coach Jamie, actually say hello to everybody while Coach Tara and Coach Mary and myself get situated to help answer some questions. So Jamie, take it away.
All righty. So we have April, Ashley, French Fry. Not sure who that is, but
Ben Dixon.
French Fry. Oh, there we go. Jolene, Jenna, Jessica, Julia, Kelly, Kevin, Kimberly, Kristen's iPhone, Leah, Megan, Patricia, Shannon, Sylvia, Tina, Tracy S, Tracy's iPhone, Vicky, Victoria, Gigi, and Susan. Welcome and happy freaking Friday, y'all.
And Kayla just popped in. So, hey, Kayla, what's up? Oh, Jesse's coming in as well. You guys are all straggling in. Are you on island time with Eric, even though he's not technically on an island? I guess they're all islands, right?
I would consider it an island. I'd tell myself I was on an island.
I mean, the U.S.
Oh, it's a peninsula, the Yucatan Peninsula. He's on a peninsula right now.
Ultimately, there's gonna be an island somewhere. We're all surrounded by water, right? Kinda. Anyway, all right.
Jules is here now too.
Yeah, welcome. All right, guys. So Eric is on vacation. We're really, really sorry that he didn't take us with him and you guys with him. And we're sad. But obviously, we have a shit ton of work because he's a slave master, man. He was just like, guys, I'm out. Just do everything. So we're going to get this started. We're going to start reading through your questions. Of course, if you have any other questions, drop them below. Coach Jamie is going to be in the chat, manning that to like help answer those questions. So we're kind of going to keep this rocking and rolling. But first question is by Ms. Leah Hofecker. Can we talk about lat bracing? And the cool thing is Coach Judith popped in a couple of really awesome videos there. We do have them in the database, guys, or in the video vault inside the database in the app. So if you're ever wondering like how to do, it's great to like see a little video there, but Judith dropped them in there. Coach Mary and myself also did a deadlift workshop yesterday. Highly recommend that you watch that back. The link was both posted in the Facebook group last night, so you can look for Mary's post. And we also popped it into the app as well. Leah, the biggest thing that we're going to tell you is think about your shoulders. And I know Mary and Tara might pop in here with an answer to that too, but think about your shoulders shoving down and back. And that really, really helps activate the lats into that position. And then, of course, we're going to be like, send us the form check. It takes a little bit of time. Mary, do you have anything else you want to add in there based on what we said yesterday as well?
And kind of based on what you said, Leah, I would really see the results after you're done with the program, because right now you're doing like a lot of isolation work for your lats. And when you get back into, maybe your more compound movements where you need to be bracing them, you will see change, like as far as your progress and your ability to do so. So keep that in mind and, staying the course with the program and kind of trusting the process, because it's an incredible program. I did it last summer. So and I know Jamie's done it maybe twice at this point. So
no, just once, but I'll jump back into it here. So yeah.
I always want to jump back into it. I actually might, like in March or so, because it's my favorite personally.
Yeah.
But
as soon as you're done with that deficit,
trusting the process with it. So, and then as far as like one thing I like to think about with lat bracing is like punching the ground. So if you're kind of like standing up, like just with your arms by your side to feel what it feels like punch the ground down and you'll kind of feel your lats fire on. So that's kind of a way to practice what it feels like. So those are the couple little things I would say, but I'm sure y'all have a little bit more maybe.
I think that's perfect, Mary. I love that punching the ground. I'd never like done that one before, so now I'm going to be punching the ground.
Yeah.
For me, I
Keep
think about
practicing
like,
kickboxing.
Don't
I
punch
think about
too
like
hard.
what the lat does, like how it is really just in charge of like bringing your arm down. So especially when I'm doing anything like a lat focused row, I think about that movement, like how like my tricep is coming closer to my body and my lat's kind of in charge of bringing that closer. So that's kind of how I get like my mind to be in the same page there.
I know for me, when I was first starting, it helped me to like think about opposites. So like if you pull your shoulders up and forward towards your ears and then do the opposite and send them down and back, you'll feel those lats kind of right on the back side of your underarm engage. And that's kind of what helped me. Because just sitting here and doing that, like I didn't always feel it. But if I do the extreme and then take it down, I could feel it a lot better. So maybe try that too.
And Kelly Burke is deflating balloons underneath her armpit.
That,
Nice
kind of like you're
job.
squeezing a lemon, making some lemonade under your armpits, like.
I love it. All right, Mary, what you got? What's your question?
Question is from Melanie Collin, and Melanie says, let's talk about body dysmorphia and how to overcome it. Coach Judith left a link to the topic talk we did about this sometime last year. So that's a really good one to check out. And what I would say, Melanie, and it's something we all deal with, very, very normal to deal with. Something that's helpful to help overcome it is like setting goals that are not related to your aesthetics and to your looks, like setting performance-based goals or habit-based goals, kind of, and focusing more on those things that are going to build you up a little bit more, that aren't necessarily just related to your physique and just related to your body. So like athletic performance goals and strength goals go a long way. Even like streaks with consistency and focusing more on those things and giving yourself like little mini challenges can help overcome some of that body dysmorphia. And counteracting, arguing with those negative thoughts, coming up with reasons why you're proud of your body, things your body that has done that, it makes it strong and keeps you alive. So there are so many things there. So kind of fighting back with those negative voices and talking to yourself, reminding yourself to talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend or a loved one, and you wouldn't like pick them apart and be hard on them. So those are my kind of main points for overcoming body dysmorphia.
Love it. Tara, what you got on that one?
Well, me and Melanie were actually on a call yesterday kind of talking about this because she had her progress pictures come up, and me, her husband, we're all like, we see these massive changes, and she was just like refusing. Her brain was just not connecting the dots on seeing the progress that she's made. So we got on a conversation about that, and I said the same thing Mary said, it's totally normal. A lot of people, this is something that a lot of people deal with, and you go to the store to buy clothes and your mind does not let you reach for that certain size that your body is. It's like in disbelief that you're there. So it's just something that takes time to kind of overcome, like Mary said, setting different goals, being proud of what your body can do, rather what it looks like, is probably the best advice that I think any of us can give.
Love that. How about you, Jamie? What you got?
For me, and I think I've shared this before, but like my entire journey, so over 100 pounds in 14 months, that was fast for my mind to keep up with. And for me, it truly was just documenting as much of it as I could, because looking in the mirror, I never saw changes. But when I would put my progress pictures next to each other, especially if they were a few months apart, I could see the change. And then you almost, at least for me, I almost had to challenge myself when I did go into clothing stores to reach for that size and be okay with the fact that it might be too small and I might not be there yet, but I'm at least going to go try. And so the more that I would do that, the more I would kind of dismantle and unwire that kind of mental perception of what I used to be, the size I used to be, how I used to look, and it would create some space for me to start realizing where I am today in the moment. So that's kind of how I tackled it, is just being very visual with it, trying to remove as much emotion from it as possible, and really just looking at the data and the comparisons so I could see the distance that I had come.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I still have such a hard time with this, because I never took progress pictures when I was losing weight. It was before I was one of Eric's one-on-one clients. I was not in a community of people, like nobody telling me, you know, make sure you're documenting all this. You know, I lost 130 pounds and didn't take one progress picture. So when I got to the end of that, it was just, my brain was like, no, it had no idea what just happened. Not a clue.
Mhm.
Way
Yeah.
behind. So it's another thing, you know, take the progress pictures. As much as you hate doing it, take them, take the measurements, do all those things.
I like that. That resonates with me so much, Tara, because I did the exact same thing. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not taking pictures. And I tell my clients, like, to this day, it's my one big regret.
I
Like,
didn't even
that's
know
my
to take the
regret.
pictures. I was just like kind of wadding around with like a blindfold on, like
Yeah.
things
It's
seem
like,
to
yeah.
be.
I mean, my big thing too that I would mention here is take videos of yourself working out. I can't tell you how different it is to see your body in movement when you are lifting, when you are running, when you are doing anything. When you look at athletes, if they're just sitting there, they just look like regular people. And when they start putting that body in motion, that's when the magic starts happening. And for you to be able to see yourself in that light, being powerful, being strong, like kicking ass, it changes you psychologically. Now you're not looking at every little part that's not perfect. You're looking at something that's moving. You're like, holy shit, right? It's so funny. I was in a class last night and I go to my kickboxing class once a week and we were doing at the end of the class, they're like, all right, let's do core work. And I'm like, all right, go piss off. But I'm like I'm sitting there doing core work and I look down at my legs and I'm like, holy shit, look at my quad. That's all I could think of. I wasn't looking at my gut. I wasn't looking at a part that wasn't firm or anything like that. I was like, look at my body right now in movement. And I really, really, I encourage you to take videos of yourself like doing something like that. And that changes that concept too. But we love this. We love this talk. Real quick to answer your question, Steph, as far as putting it into the topic talks or putting the topic talks into like easy, accessible manner. We are working on that. We're just trying to make sure that the app doesn't become kind of like so much stuff there. So we're trying to organize it a little bit as we kind of progress. So ultimately, yes, we would want to have some of these big topic talks that we do with all of you inside of the app, inside of the video courses. That is our kind of intention. We just want to make sure we're rolling it out right. But we always have Coach Judith on hand because she can like bring them out, drop a hat. Awesome. All right, Miss Tara, you're up.
We got Sim Scott. I'm using heavier weight for barbell RDLs around body weight. I'm starting to feel some pressure in my lower back only during the rep, and I feel no ill effects after the rep or post-workout. My latest form check videos have been blessed. Is this pressure acceptable, expected, or is it a sign of something that needs fixing? Should I brace ever harder? Thanks. I would assume talking about bracing lats. I would say it could be time to start looking into a belt for when you lift. You know, eventually we're going to get to a point where the weight is just really freaking heavy. But I would look into a lifting belt. It could be like something bracing, you know, but eventually your core, it's hard for your core to keep up with the other muscles in your body. Your legs are a huge muscle, your hamstrings, your glutes for a movement like an RDL. And your core, while it's strong and it's getting stronger as you continue to lift, it's normal for other parts of your body, those bigger muscles, to kind of outpace it. So while your legs are getting stronger, your lats are strong enough to kind of hold the weight, bear the weight, your core is fatiguing so much quicker than any part of the other body. So that's where the lifting belt comes in. It's kind of that extra kind of safety net to make sure that you're bracing hard enough so that you're not getting that lower back pain. Besides that though, I feel like that would be like the key thing here. If form looks okay, then look into getting a lifting belt. I don't know if anybody else has any other tips.
I completely agree.
Mhm.
Mary,
I was gonna
Jamin?
say the same thing. Like I did okay until I got up over 200 pounds, and then I started, even nothing changed with my form, but I did start feeling it in my back, and that's when I looked into getting a belt for sure.
Mhm. It's the same thing with like your grip strength, you know, eventually your
Yeah.
grip strength doesn't keep up with every other part of your body and the strength that's in there.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome, Blossom. All right, let's see here. Vanessa Mercado. I can't seem to get myself comfortable with Bulgarian split squats. do we ever get comfortable with Bulgarian split squats? That's the real question. I think it's more about making sure I'm in the right position. Is there a trick to do this? And I can't get balanced enough to do a form check video. I look like a Weeble Wobble. I like Weeble Wobbles, Vanessa. I think they're really cute.
They're
Might
cute,
be
but
a-
I'm not.
That's a lie. Might be a mental thing though. I mean, as far as having balance to do a form check, Vanessa, I would hope that you're not trying to do this, right? Just get yourself put your water bottle down on the ground, prop your phone around, and just get over there, wobble around until you get in position. I've seen a couple of and the other coaches can chime in on this. I have seen other TikToks and stuff like that with little tricks where you start from the ground up. So get into position and then raise yourself up. When I personally tried that, it made it worse for me because I'm like, oh, holy hell, now I've got to pick up these dumbbells from the ground. But Mary, Tara, Jamie, do you guys have anything? Mary, what do you think? What are your tricks?
I've seen those little videos too, where it's sit on the bench with your feet perfectly straight out and then stand up. And
Yeah,
it's
and I'm
just
dude.
more to process and more to remember. So I would just start with body weight only and find a comfortable position. And you can mark the floor, put something on the ground, where that's a good spot for your toe to be. So that can help with positioning and everything. So I would say that, and I know some people have tried starting at the bottom too, kind of like Linda said, where you're in the bottom position, but then it's kind of even more difficult to keep your core in line and pick the dumbbells up from the ground. So, using support, it's okay at first to put one hand on something and use support, especially just while finding the positioning in the first week and while you're getting stronger with them. So those are kind of my takeaways on Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah, same here. Definitely the whole marking the floor thing. I always, when I do Bulgarian split squats, I do them body weight first. Find that spot on the floor with both feet, because something that I did notice is that we're used to muscle imbalances. Same kind of thing with stabilizing on each side. So I'll do my left foot in front, kind of mark something on that left side where that foot is, and then I'll do the right side too, still body weight, and kind of see what's comfortable with that right leg, because it's going to be different, not for everybody, but there is imbalances when it comes to stability and balance as well. So I think marking something on the floor is the best thing to do.
Yeah, and then I think I would just add, just like it takes time to build up muscle strength, it takes time to build up balance and stability too. And so I used support, I think, for the first 4 months before I could do a full set of truly unsupported Bulgarian split squats. And I wasn't necessarily holding on the whole time, but it was always there in case I needed to hand check myself so I didn't topple over, which again allowed me to kind of build that balance, build that kinesthetic sense, build that stability, etc. So sometimes it just takes time and practice too, Vanessa, and it'll come.
And I appreciate that. I saw your video the other day, Jamie, where you were holding on to something, and I think I asked you and I said I would send you a video. So yes, I always put my phone on the floor. I'm never holding it, but I look so dumb that I don't even want to look at the video. So but my friend's going with me to the gym today. So she said, I asked if she would record me for at least that. So she's going to help me out today with that.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Vanessa. And it could be something as simple as your stance is too narrow that can cause that wobble. So just kind of widening your stance between your feet, that can really help. But your friend's going to have your friend take it from the side and take a shot from the front too. So that way we can see both those angles and we'll get you sorted. Don't worry.
Perfect. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
You are welcome. Let's see here. Tara, you're up, right?
No, Mary?
Mary's up. God, I'm already losing track of where I am.
Okay. Next question is from Jenna Gustafson, and it says, Hala, thoughts on the high top lifting shoes? I've been looking at them for more ankle stability. My foot is still garbage and wondering if it would help on lower body days. Also gives me an excuse to buy new shoes. Sounds good, Jenna. What I know about them is exactly what you said, is that they'll give you a little bit more ankle stability. So if that's something you're seeking or looking for, I've heard that they're good for that. I've never used them. I know some people in the group, I think Letitia has them. So she might be a good one to ask because I've seen her lifting in high tops and I've seen other people at the gym lifting in them, but I know that they're good for just that added ankle stability, helping to keep them warm, which is always nice, I think. So that's good for the joint too. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if anyone else knows more about them. I've never worn them. Linda's a shoe
I've
person,
used like
so-
high tops, Converses, high top Vans in my lifts. And the only thing that I don't love about them is that it takes away ankle mobility. Like if I'm doing certain movements, I can't get, not that my ankle mobility is incredible to begin with, but it doesn't allow me to kind of get that forward lunge. Like it doesn't allow my knee to travel over my toes as much with the low top stuff. So wear them, use them for certain movements, but anything that you're trying to bias your quad or get those knees to travel a little bit forward, maybe you just go barefoot.
Yeah, I agree with that. My youngest kid lifts kind of like in high tops, and it's the same, like, you know, but she has really good ankle mobility to start with. So like for her, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. But you know, rock it
Yeah.
out, Jenna. And
Like
who
Joe
doesn't
just
need an
said, don't lace them too tight.
Oh yeah, true,
Mhm.
true. I mean, you need new shoes, right? Did you get a coat for your trip?
I will always vote yes to new shoes, so don't ask me. All right, next up we got Megan Kuhn. What is the difference between a cut and a deficit? And Mr. Bradley Wright hit it and said it's just a different way to say it, which is exactly that. You know, it means the exact same thing, just means you're going into a calorie deficit to lose some fat.
Yep, perfect. Not much else to say there, right?
No, that was an easy one.
All right, Corey McKee. When training for a half marathon, what do you prioritize, strength or running, or both? And can you train in a deficit? All right, so I don't recommend training for both in a deficit. I would say you should go at least into maintenance, because when you're really when you get into the latter stages of that half marathon training, your mileage is going up, then that's going to really start breaking down your body. You're also going to be physically and mentally kind of like depleted. So I don't recommend it, especially for that kind of distance. Can you do a 5K? Yeah. Can you do a 10K? Yeah. You know, that is absolutely doable, but you're getting into like some distance work there. There is, again, I'm a firm believer there's a place and time for everything, right? And initially, when you're maybe in your first 3 to 6 weeks of your half marathon training, you can absolutely prioritize both. I don't think one has to take a back seat to the other necessarily. You're still going to be able to get in your lifts at a high intensity, provided your nutrition is on point. And that's why I don't recommend being in a deficit, because you're just not going to get everything that you need. You're going to need the extra carbs to fuel you, especially for the runs. So I wouldn't do the deficit. Once you get into the latter stages of your race training and you're starting to kind of like up that mileage, then that's when that would take priority, right? You get your runs in first, and maybe your lifting schedule shifts a little bit. So by that, I mean, we're really married to the idea of we need to get all our lifts in 7 days, okay? When you're training for a race or a competition in a different sport, and I'll let Mary talk on this too when she was doing ninja, but when you're training for like competition in a different sport, then there has to come that period of time where the balance shifts, right? I know when I was going for my 4th degree black belt, I was training with Eric, everything was great. And then as I got closer, you know, I'm like, all right, this now is kind of like taking a back seat. Now I got to like focus there. So that's when your training for your running will start taking priority. And again, talking about the 7 days. So you might be on a 3-day split with your lifts. Maybe, and most people will do their long runs on the weekend, but maybe you're doing, you know, lifting on Tuesday, lifting on Thursday. Okay. You're like, but what about my full body day? Do your full body day next Tuesday. Okay. So you're just extending your kind of like schedule for your lifts. So you're not missing anything. You're just picking up. And that's, again, once you get into the latter stages of your running. Mary, how did you do it when you were doing your ninja?
I kind of did both. So I don't know. I never backed off on my strength training, that's for sure. So I would say, but me, I I don't know, I wasn't giving like my all to Ninja. I could say that honestly. Like even when I was doing the competitions, I was still only doing it like once or twice a week. And I kind of just viewed it as the thing I do just for fun. So my strength training still always took priority. So something has to take priority. So if you're, gonna really be all focused and all in on that half marathon and you want to go for PRs and you want to be able to push yourself hard, yes, like for recovery, you might have to, like Linda said, like lessen up your strength training volume and frequency, especially those last few weeks leading up to it. And yeah, that's kind of your only option, like, because you want to be able to recover well. And I wouldn't recommend training for any sort of an athletic competition, like if you're in a deficit. Like if you can, that's just going to make it so much freaking harder. Like your sleep's going to be so poor and your recovery and everything.
gonna
So
perform
yeah,
well.
definitely like those last 6 weeks of training for your half, you want to be at least at maintenance, and you're going to, especially for running, oh my God, like you're going to need to be eating. Yeah. Or the recovery will just be shit.
Guys, Coach Mary's in a deficit right now. We did our deadlift workshop yesterday. You should have seen this woman. She was like angry. She was angry. I thought I was going to get like fists to my face. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with your choices, Mary.
I'm trying to stay positive about it.
Tara,
I'm doing it though.
Yeah, you are. Tara, you used to run too, right?
I did, yeah. I wasn't
Yeah.
really strength training though.
Ah,
That was COVID was my running days.
okay.
Nothing else
Gotcha.
to do. That was the tail end. Then literally right after that stopped was when I signed up and started following a real strength training program, and the running stopped.
And you're like, I'm good. Love
I
it.
stopped lying to myself. I was like, no, I don't really like this.
Love it. Love it. All right, Mary, I think you're up, right?
Yep. Next question is from Tina van der Harwagart, and it's, can we stay on the negative 750 calories from a rapid fat loss week for all or even just a few days a week, or is it a bad idea? Not sure if this makes a difference, but I have 70 pounds to lose. To that, Tina, I would say you don't want to do a rapid fat loss week for an extended period of time. And like, my question is like, why? Like, I understand you have 70 pounds to lose, but the goal is to be able to eat as much as possible while seeing results, not eat as little as possible that you can like survive on. So it's really important that you're not like putting yourself in too much of a deficit to where your energy is going to suck, to where you're going to be miserable, to where it's harder to sustain over time, because this is about consistency. I mean, I lost 70 pounds following a calorie deficit in 9 months. I lost those 70 pounds. And I think that's a total reasonable like time frame. It could take longer, and that would be okay too, because 5 years from now, 10 years, you're not going to care if it took 6 months or if it took 12 months or if it took 15 months. You'll just be happy you did it. And you want to build healthy habits in the meantime. And over restricting your food is not a healthy habit to build. So it's also about maintaining a good relationship with food and with your body. So I would just, trust the process and be a little bit patient, and use it as a time to learn, and keep the calorie deficit a little bit more moderate than that.
I love that. Jamie, what do you have?
I would say the same. I never felt bad when I was on my deficit. And I think it's because I never really tried to push and get aggressive until I got down to like the last few weeks and the last, 15, 20 pounds. If I had had a bad experience with it, I don't think I would have been as successful as I was. And so, as Mary said, everything that you can do to build sustainability, to improve your relationship with food, to improve your relationship with your body, to understand that this really is a game of how much can I eat and still lose, half a pound, maybe 2 pounds per week, as opposed to how little can I eat to lose the weight as quickly as possible. Like we've all been there where we've tried to lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks. And what happens? It always comes back. But if we do it slow and if we do it in a sustainable way, then we build the habits that we need to keep the weight off forever. And as Mary said, if it takes you an extra few months now, 5 years from now, when the weight is still gone because you did it the right way, it's not going to matter.
Tara, you got anything to add?
I wholeheartedly agree with both. Everything that they both said, I couldn't agree more with.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully that answers your question, Tina.
Next up, we got Jessica Gata of 2 questions. First one, can you please explain why there are no kettlebell options for exercises? The 2 options are usually dumbbell or barbell. And I think that some of this is just availability. You know, people are probably tend to have dumbbells rather than barbells. Some gyms don't have the kettlebells, all that stuff. But also like the profile of the weight itself. I think it has more to do with like the balance of a dumbbell compared to a kettlebell. You know, if you're doing a shoulder press with a kettlebell, it's going to put a ton of pressure on your wrist. That weight is all on the one side of the piece of equipment itself. So I think the dumbbells are just kind of more cohesive with stability, keeping things in the center of your gravity. There is a time and place for kettlebells, and you can swap them out. I was talking to Brienne this morning in small groups, and she sent me a video of her suitcase RDLs. I was like, if you want, grab a kettlebell. If it makes it easier, you know, you can place that on the floor. It's a little bit closer to the ground. So there is a time and place where you can swap them out. But for the most part, I think just using the dumbbells is more about like the balance of the weight profile. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly what Coach Tara said there. It's like most people will have access to dumbbells or barbells. So nothing really intricate there, Jess.
Yeah,
I like your
would agree.
sweater, by the way. She's all in her Valentine's gear. She's ready.
Yes.
Love
Thanks.
I love it. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, hold on. Jessica had one more question.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay to use fixed barbells for the seated barbell shoulder press? All the squat racks were being used today, so I grabbed a fixed bar and did it that way. I would say totally fine. Eventually, you know, you're gonna get to a point where it's super heavy and you're not gonna be able to get that up here to like press it up. But for now, if you're able to get that up in a safe way to press it, then totally fine.
Okay,
And
thank you.
That's actually a really good question too, Jessica. And guys, there's going to be times where you need to like work on the fly, right? If you don't have access to one thing, grab the other thing. Trust yourself with that. And don't be afraid to kind of like keep on going. I think a lot of times we're like, oh, if I can't go exactly according to what this says right here, right now, that's it. So I love that you did that, Jess.
Yeah,
Right.
there were empty benches, and I was like, well, the fixed bars are right there. I was like, I'll grab a 50 and see what happens.
There you go. All right, let's see here. Alejandra Osuna. I've seen some videos that say don't count your veggies in a calorie deficit. Is this true, or does it apply to certain veggies? I think that comes from the, what is it? They're like where it's the foods are no, what is it called again?
Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers?
No, where it's like negative calorie foods. Is that it? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. There was like
I
this
have
like,
heard of that though.
right?
Yeah, like
Where it's
celery, like supposedly celery, it takes more calories to chew it and digest it than it does.
Yeah, that's like, I don't want to say it's baloney. Maybe it does. Like maybe you're chewing there on celery for 5
Well, if
hours.
that's the case, we would have to reduce calories in all food we eat because it all,
Exactly.
you know, so,
How
you know.
hard am I chewing right now, right? It's like on a scale of 1 to 10 of perceived exertion. No, I mean, every food has calories. Okay. If it has calories and you are calorie counting, count it. Because remember, you might not be just like, there was one coach, there was a trainer, she's Nikki Scott, and she tells a story where she was eating carrots in her deficit. It was way back before she became a coach, and she's like, this is the way to go. I'm just going to eat carrots all day long because I'm in a deficit. I want to get fit. I want to get like all the rest of it. So she was eating so many carrots, right? Her skin turned orange. I'm not even lying here, guys. Yeah, Shannon's like, what? Yeah. No, she was eating crazy amounts, right? But that just goes to show you, yeah, that's true, Jamie.
No, 100%.
I'm picturing this Oompa Loompa.
It'll turn your hands.
Right.
Your hands will get orange first. Like I think the rougher
Yeah.
the skin, like your
Because of the
elbows
beta
get orange.
carotene. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like she was turning orange and she's like, what the hell? I'm eating vegetables, right? And it just goes to show you got to be in balance, guys. Just because, you know, it's vegetables doesn't mean it doesn't have calories. Count them, because it educates you as to what is actually going into your body. It's also educating you on portion sizes. Remember, you're counting calories right now, not to count calories forever. the work that you're putting in right now, like Jamie and Mary and Tara, they each talked about their journey. They were like counting calories. They're like, what am I learning, right, along the way? And then eventually they can start pulling away from that. You don't have to count calories. Okay. So remember, this is what you're learning. It's not like so that you're going to be restrictive on anything in anywhere in your life, but it's so you have knowledge. So calories do exist in vegetables. So I would say, yeah, that was a very long story around counting calories there on your veggies. But does anybody else have anything they want to add?
No,
You
I
covered
agree.
it all,
Oh,
Linda.
Melanie. No, spices. You don't have to count your spices, babe.
About carrots, because at the live on Monday night, Zach said that we should be eating a wide variety of vegetables for gut health. I got hard on myself, so I bought carrots this time at the grocery store, and I don't
Don't
like
eat all
carrots
of them. Just don't eat all of them
I'm
all
gonna
the
eat-
time.
because I don't do much variety. I do all like broccoli,
Mm.
spinach, Brussels sprouts. That's it.
Mm.
Like I need some color.
Me too. I'm the
You
same way, Mary.
God, I was eating so much broccoli, and then like about a month ago, I started like revolting against like my husband be like, "Hey, broccoli," and I know I sound like a brat because this man is like preparing my dinner, right? He's like, "Here's your dinner," and I'm like throwing broccoli at him. I'm like, I don't want to see broccoli again because I ate so much broccoli. But yes, a wide variety.
Yes. Okay. Next one is from Alexandra Roberts. And Alexandra says, maybe some videos showing how to use gym equipment, question mark. Let us know what equipment. I'd love to make
Yeah.
some videos. I'll be happy to do that. So
Yeah, I
if
would
you want
too.
to comment, Alexandra, what videos you're looking for, what
Yeah.
equipment. Yep. I'll give it my
And
best.
and we do have like most of them, they just might not be in your program. But if there's something specific, like Coach Mary said, give us a shout. We got you.
All right.
Yep.
Next question is from Andrea Gutierrez. I know we're supposed to be progressively overloading on weights, but when starting a new month in a 3-month program, is it recommended to do a deload week, but should we go heavier than the previous month or start back up from that lower deload weight? For example, I go to 135 pounds on barbell hip thrusts by the end of month 1, but then I lowered the weight to deload the first week of month 2 of the glute program. What should my next weight up be for the second week? Up from 135 or up from the deload weight? I hope that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And what I would say is if 135 was where you ended the last program and whatever you deload with, I would not try and go above 135 right away. I would continue to work your way through that. Maybe aim for 135 in week 3. And then week 4 is heavier than that 135. You know, if you go into week 2 and you're doing 115 pounds and you're like, this is easy, then hell yeah, don't wait until week 3 to do 135, go right for it. But I think a good progression through your workouts, that's kind of what I aim to do. I'll take what I'm ending with and aim for that to feel good on like week 3. I might do it in week 2 and in week 3, just to feel good on my form, on like, am I getting a full range of motion in this movement? Because week 4 is usually not the best range of motion in whatever weight I'm ending in. It's usually I'm fighting through a few reps. So if I can feel good about that weight week 3 and then go above that week 4, that would probably be somewhere good to kind of be around. I don't know if you guys have other things to add.
Exactly what you
Yeah,
said.
I
Sarah.
completely agree. I usually set it like if I know I finished at 135 the last program, I'll just set my like final week of the new program goal to be higher than that
Mhm.
135 and make sure I'm like set up in a way to get there. So pretty much exactly how Tara put it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't typically base I might be bad, but I don't typically base my second week weight on my deload weight because
No,
sometimes my
mm-mm.
deload weight is like I'm just showing up and doing the movement. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily
Yeah,
based
that's true.
on
They have
100%,
nothing to do
anything
with each other. Yeah.
scientific. So I will a lot of times look at like where did I end the previous month to determine my deload weight.
Mhm.
But I don't use my deload weight to determine where I'm heading in week 2. I do a lot of what Tara and Mary have talked
Mm.
about. And just if I ended at 135, I'll be honest, I'll probably try 135. But a
Mm.
lot of times the way that Eric programs, it's a different variation in the subsequent month too. So I've got to back off usually a little bit
Yeah,
in week
all
2 than where I
vibes, no
ended the previous
science.
month. Yeah.
My
Good
feeling.
point. Good point. Nice. All right. Andrea has another question. All right. I might be throwing this one over to Coach Mary because she's the the professional at bulking here. This is my first time bulking, and I've gained 2 pounds in 1 month when I started. I'm gaining belly fat, but I do see my glutes increasing. My measurements are 38, 31, 43, and I'm 5'2" and 158 currently. I'm tracking my macros at 1971 for calories, protein's 148, fat is 55, and carbs are 221. When should I stop bulking, and how do I make it so I maintain my glute gains? Would it be a cut or a recomp? And how much should my deficit be to cut down some fat, since my goal is to grow my glutes and lose fat everywhere else? Mary's always growing her glutes, aren't you, Mary?
Shut up, Linda. No, they don't
Aren't we
grow.
all? I think we all
Yeah.
are. We're all working on the booty gain.
I'm never working on glutes. I'm like, there's
No.
enough back there.
Yeah,
Which
so
one?
Andrea, I would say, like, to start with the first question, it looks like when should you stop bulking? And you want to stay in your bulk for, at least 4 to 6 months. You want to ride it out. So continue to monitor your progress, and, keep a reasonable bulk to where you're not eating, not gaining like 4 to 5 pounds, every couple of weeks or anything like that. So just monitor your progress, but you definitely want to stick it out like at least 4 to 6 months to maintain your glute gains. When you stop your bulk, make sure that you're still keeping your protein up and that you are continuing to strength train and pushing hard in your workouts and not going into too extreme of a cut or anything right away, because you could potentially lose them then. So those are the things I would say there. Would it be a cut or a recomp? Most people would do a cut. Like after a bulk, you would go into maybe like a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks in maintenance, ride that out, kind of get used to the maintenance calories, and then go into a cut from there. And then your cut is going to be, based on what your maintenance is. I would lower your calories like 400 to 500 per day. So that's the cut. That's about how much you want to go down. So those are the things I would say there. Your goal is to grow and you're not going to be able to control where you lose from when you go into that deficit to a point. Like you want to keep your protein up, keep doing your glute exercises, keep strength training. But if your body's going to lose some little bit of the fat gained from your glutes, there's really nothing you can do about that. So keep that in mind too. So you don't have any control over that, just like none of us have control over it at any point in our journey. So those are my thoughts.
All right, that's it. Like Tara and I are sitting here going, we hate bulking.
I hate it.
Hate
Hate
it.
it. I will live in a deficit. I'm in a deficit right now.
I will bulk the
Girl.
rest of my life if I could.
I will live in maintenance.
No,
That's
I hate being in a bulk. We
Same,
got
Tara, same. All right. I
Mary.
think that's two,
No, I
right?
think we have one more.
Oh,
Oh, we do.
no,
Thank you.
it's you, Tara. Oh, it's Mary. God, see?
That's me.
Golly.
So
You're the
it's
one
from
that set it in motion.
Didia Ramirez, new member. Thank you for the question here, Didia. And it's what's the best way to stay hydrated throughout the day? How much pink salt should I add to a gallon of water? Definitely drinking water, great way to stay hydrated throughout the day. Just making sure you always have your water near and sipping on it. For the salt thing, I would add maybe like 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon of the pink salt. And not to all your water, like just to like 1 water or so per day, because if you're putting salt on your food too, you don't want to get too much of it. So maybe if you're doing 1 gallon, putting like 1/4 teaspoon of it in there or so. I don't know. I don't know what you guys do. Before my workout, I do like this much water with like 1/4 teaspoon of salt in it, but that's the only time I add salt to my water all day. It's not like I'm sipping on salt water all day. So
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
what you guys do, but
I'm basically the same. The only thing like as far as hydrating, like electrolytes, I supplement a 1/2 teaspoon of salt with my pre-workout, and then I do magnesium before I go to bed. Besides that, like I get most of everything that I need. I'm sure she does too, from her diet, from the foods that we're eating. So keep that in mind. I know the gallon of water is like, everybody thinks that is like the gold standard of health, but if it's something you do not on purpose and you just that's just how much water you drink, 100% continue doing that. It's great, but don't be out there killing yourself forcing a gallon of water down, because it's not,
Yeah.
you don't need to be drinking a gallon of water. You can get away with anywhere from 60 to 100 ounces of water a day is plenty to make sure you stay hydrated.
Mhm.
And I don't
Just-
do the salt water thing at all. I just salt my food and then I drink normal
Yeah.
water. 'Cause I don't like the way salt water tastes and I'm not
I'm so
gonna be
used to
so
salt being my
miserable
pre-workout
drinking
now
it.
that it tastes weird if I don't put it in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like Lydia, as far as how to stay hydrated throughout the day, you know, I'd mentioned to you earlier, I'm like, get into the habit of having a glass of water with each of your meals. Like I just saw Mary and Tara both swig there. Drink.
I have Sprite
so-
Zero, it doesn't count.
So it's like, you know, drink throughout the day. Don't overthink it. Some people also like sweat more than others. So then you might need to be a little bit more aware of that. But just like Tara's mentioning here, you don't have to be like chugging this gallon like water. You don't have to be like one of the bros in the gym, like with their, yeah, let's do this. You're totally fine.
Mhm. And then she had, do you want to hit it, Mary?
Sure, I'll do it, Tara.
All you.
Okay. So the second part of Lydia's question, does a band/TRX workout help mobility for your evening workout, or will it be overtraining? You'll find some band and TRX work like in our warm-ups, Lydia, like the 1A, the 1B, the first superset of your program is typically like the warm-up. So it's a good way to get warmed up, and our warm-ups are always mobility work. I wouldn't recommend doing like an entire like intense band and TRX workout before an evening or any time of day workout, just because, you know, you don't want to do too much before getting into your strength training because you want to be able to bring your best to it. But for mobility, there is some great stuff you can do with band and TRX. So it's definitely worth incorporating, but that's built into your program. The mobility work is at the beginning of your program.
Yep. That is it, my friends. Nothing else on this site. Yes, Eric, if you're listening somewhere on a beach to this, we have refreshed 1,000 times. So there's no more
Yes.
questions over here. If anybody does have any other questions, you know where to reach us. We're here for you. And yeah, the big boss will be back next week. I think he'll be back kind of like office hours on Wednesday. So, you know, just let him know that we all are like way better than him and that you love us more.
We should
And
all
that
make
would
a
be
plan to flood his email when he gets back on Wednesday. Everybody send him an email.
Just be like, yeah, we don't need you. Anyway, all right, guys, have an absolutely amazing weekend. Oh, one more thing. Tomorrow we have two of our fabulous ladies doing a Valentine kind of like live little meet. If you go into the calendar, Irene and Lauren, they'll be hosting. There's a link in there, so you just want to do like a little hangout. It's not like a Q&A or anything like that. It's just going to have some fun. I have a feeling that both of those ladies will have some great things lined up for you. The calendar, when you look at the rest of the calendar, we have got some great topic talks coming up and guest speakers as well. So take a look at that. Other than that, go smash it. If one of your teams is playing in the Super Bowl, go whatever
Go
your team is
Chiefs!
going.
Go
Whatever,
Chiefs!
I'll be
Jamie.
rooting for the
You
Chief.
sure.
I'll be rooting for the Chief just so that every guy gets pissed off that
Thank
Taylor
you,
Swift gets
Tara.
celebrated.
I love you.
No.
One quick
Big Chiefs
reminder.
fan. Big Chiefs fan this weekend.
Yes, one quick reminder as well. So if you delayed your rapid fat loss week by a week, we're gonna drop the mini challenge completion form again this Sunday, right, Linda, for those folks to complete it. So you'll need to do that if you want to be in the running for the
Yeah,
prizes.
scheduled to drop on the 11th. So you'll see that little link in there. I know, blasphemy. Jesus, get out of Raider Town, guys. Okay? Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks so much for putting up with us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Happy weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.